Well, not that long ago, community-owned teams seemed to be going the way of the dinosaur in the CFL as big owners with big money moved in to buy up clubs. But in Hamilton, private ownership didn't work. And when it came time to save the Ticats, they went to the community.
In an era where CFL teams are saved by private owners buying them from the community, the Hamilton Ticats reversed the trend. Owner David Braley had reached the end of the line, unwilling to own the team any longer and unable to sell it. Braley made it clear he was quite willing to fold the team and walk away. That's when a group of citizens, led by lawyer Roger Yachetti, formed a non-profit organization to buy the Ticats. But they needed help from City Hall. Plenty of help. A $700,000 line of credit, plus free rent and control of concessions. The vote was taken 1 week ago. Each member of Hamilton Wentworth Regional Council knew the severity of this vote. A vote for would mean supporting an institution that couldn't necessarily support itself. A vote against would mean the certain death of that institution. Well, the vote couldn't have been any closer.
Those in favor, please stand. Mr. Clerk, could you give me a ruling? The motion is carried 13-12.
No one can argue the fact that the Tiger Cats are getting a great deal. In comparison, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, another community-owned team, pay a flat fee of $100,000 for the use of the stadium. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, on the other hand, don't pay rent, but they are responsible for utilities and security, which costs around $150,000 a season. In comparison, the Tiger Cats have no expenses and a $700,000 line of credit. If you include the expenses like rent, security, concessions, the Hamilton Tiger Cats would receive well over $1 million worth of gifts and benefits from the city. Hamilton Alderman Dominic Agostino was one of the 12 who voted against the proposal.
It's very hard to convince a single mom or to convince a mom with 3 or 4 children who goes to the food bank that we can't pay for food banks and we can't pay for daycare in this community because we're paying for football. And that's the type of decision that we have to struggle with every day.
Mayor Bob Morrow was one of the Ticats' leading supporters.
But I've had only certainly face-to-face reaction, and I am everywhere all the time. I've only had 2 people directly tell me that they were opposed to the deal. The others expressing relief that it was saved, or that they might now, after a 10-year lapse, buy their tickets again and get out.
Even with this line of credit, the Ticats' problems are far from over. They have to attract 19,000 fans a game to the ticket window, which isn't as easy as it sounds when you consider the hard economic times facing the Steel City and the stiff competition for the sporting dollar.
You think you can get 19,000 again?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said in the paper earlier, as fast as things had gone downhill, with the Hamilton people, things can go that fast uphill.
But along with the optimism is the reality that this cat is on its 9th life. By the slightest of margins, the politicians have made the Ticats the community's team. If the community doesn't support it, then the gates of Iverwin Stadium will shut the door on CFL football, perhaps for good.
Edmonton Eskimo President Gary Campbell joins us now. Gary, community ownership works here in Edmonton very well. Can it work in Hamilton?
Absolutely. It's going to work in Hamilton. I know the Hamilton fans are going to get behind the Tiger Cats, and they're going to do real well.
Now, the Eskimos are a model franchise in the CFL. They have been for years. What makes community ownership work here? What have you done right, and what can Hamilton learn from that?
Well, I think the main thing is that when you get a community-owned club, it means the community can get behind a club, show a lot of enthusiasm for the fans, and they just feel they're part of the whole thing. Edmonton, mind you, is a bit unique because we are a bit community-minded, but they better put a good team out, and I think they have this year, so I think that'll bring the fans out. The parity in the CFL this year, Gord, is the greatest I've seen, and I think it's going to be a very exciting year.
Gary, thanks very much. We'll let you enjoy the game coming up.
Thank you very much, Gord. Thank you.
Gary Campbell, the president of the Edmonton Eskimos, and for their thoughts on this touchy subject, let's go back upstairs to John and Leif.
Well, it is touchy, Gord, but when you look at the situation in Hamilton, everyone has to be happy that football was saved there with a last-minute move to a non-profit organization.
Well, John, I'm certainly happy as a former Ticat to see football remain there, and I think it was a simple fact that, I mean, it was on the line. You may lose the franchise, it may move somewhere else, so City Council determined that they will keep it. And I realize that the economic times in Hamilton and everywhere in Canada are very tough, but, you know, people need an outlet, and whether it's to come to the park and vent their frustrations with the football game, or cheer on a winner, but you need something positive, something good. That occurred in Hamilton. Football will stay there, and I think the community will rally around, and it certainly is a positive thing.
The reverse was true a year ago when the Calgary Stampeders went from public to private ownership when Larry Rickman took over, and now the Canadian Football League has 4 teams that are privately owned and 4 that are publicly owned. Gord?